Hi, welcome to Inking Pink. I'm Shantae. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the flower that I used on my purse from the Personality Challenge, Cuddlebug Challenge number 81. We're going to use the Forever Young cartridge to make the leaves, the base of the flower, and the flower layers. This is really pretty easy. Had a couple requests to show you a video how to do this, so really it's not hard at all. So we're going to cut. First we're going to start by cutting the leaf outside shadow. So we're going to hit the shadow function and then our flower number 9. I'm going to wait for that to come up. And we're going to cut that at 2 3/4. So we're just going to go ahead and hit cut. Okay, so we have our flower pieces. They're all cut out. And now we're going to emboss them with the Moroccan screen. We're just going to run those through the Cuddlebug. We're going to emboss all of them. Grab the Cuddlebug. Insert your A plate and your B plate. Open up the folder. And we're going to insert all of your pieces. And I'm going to overlap a little bit. It's okay. They'll still emboss. It's okay to kind of overlap a little bit. So I'm going to put that folder through, put my B plate on top. I'm just going to run that through. Which wants to slide all over the place since it's sitting on the paper. Now I've got all of those embossed. And you can see this is a double-sided paper. This is the same paper as the purse and the same paper in the flower as well. So now that I've got those embossed, I'm actually going to cut a couple of a contrasting paper with my scallop border punch. And I'm going to cut 2 of those striped papers with my border punch. You can get the same effect with this set of dies. I don't know if you can see that very well in the video. I hope it doesn't shine too much for you. Just on a much smaller scale, but it's going to give you the same exact look, just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to emboss these as well, and then I'm going to show you the next. My pieces embossed. I embossed the 2 circles that are scallops. I could also cut these out with my Cricut, but I decided I wanted just a couple extra layers, so that's why I went ahead and cut those out with my punch. I also cut out 2 leaves out of the same paper using my Provo Craft leaf die. This comes in a set of 4. Not really sure what the name, probably leaf. And I've embossed those as well. So now I'm going to take all of these pieces, and I want them to alternate in color. So this is going to show my leaf, and it's going to be my base layer. I'm just going to sand that around the edges. Sanding it gives it a really distressed kind of look, and it helps break down the fibers. So when we squish this, that's really going to help. I'm going to sand. With my sanding block, I'm going to sand all of these. So now I'm going to leave this as it is for now. And I'm going to take my layers. I'm going to start with the blue. I'm just going to crunch them up. I'm just going to kind of mutilate them. Just really squish them. Don't be afraid. Squish them up. You've seen this technique, I'm sure, with some of the circles or whatever. Just give them a nice squish. And open them back up. And now you're going to layer them. So big layer. Another stripe. And we're just going to kind of lay them all together. They don't have to be perfectly centered. It's fine. So you've got this big mangled mess of paper. So I'm going to take my matte pack. I'm going to pull out my little foam pad there and my punch, my paper piercer. I'm going to punch a hole right in the center. It's a lot of layers, but you can get right through there. Now I'm going to take one of these Stampin' Up! Corduroy brads. I'm just going to poke that through the middle, and I might have to just kind of separate these a little bit to get them to all go through. You can kind of play with them a little bit while you go if you find one that's really off center, but I don't think that's going to matter too awful much. So there you've got it. So you're just going to open up your brad and secure all these in place. Like so. So you got kind of a flat looking flower. Doesn't really have a lot of definition yet. The next step is really where you're going to take it to the next level. We're going to put these aside, this with water, and I'm going to get this nice and wet. Now I'm going to start in the middle, coming forward, and I'm just going to like squish it on top of that brad. I'm just going to just cover the brad. And the paper's very wet at this point. If it's not wet enough, you can spray it again. Nice and wet. Scrunch it towards the middle. Almost just covering. The more wet it is, the more fragile it is, so be careful. You know, you can rip it, which isn't a bad thing, really. So we're going to keep doing that. We're going to continue on. Get it nice and squished. And just be a little more wet. Just squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it tight. And this is what you've got. You got this bunched up little tiny itty bitty little mess. You're gonna let that dry almost completely. And then you're gonna unfurl it. You're just gonna open it up, open it up, open it up. Of course, I'm gonna be impatient and I'm gonna open it up now. So, ta-da! There's our flower. So now I'm gonna attach it to my base. And if I want, I can just keep playing with it, playing with it. As you can see, that looks pretty as it is, but I'd really like a little more dimension. So I'm gonna add my extra leaves. I'm gonna pop those up on a dimensional and on another dimensional. And then I'll attach the whole thing to my purse with a pop-up glue dot, or even some zip dry will hold that sucker on there. Now, while I've got all this here, I'm going to shake up. You can use shimmer paint. I'm using Wheatfield's Glimmer Mist. And just give it a little spritz and let that dry. And there you have it. You have your flower is all done. And it'll look just like the one on my bag. So